Well, hello everyone, welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV on PlayFrame and the conclusion of the Omega Raid series. I've been having a grand time with this one so far, I hope you have too. And I've been waiting patiently to get started. But now let's just get going because boy, have we got a lot of story to go through today. I dread to see how long the final runtime of this last Omega episode is. It's gonna be chunky. Strap in, get a snack. Jesse greets you with a mix of enthusiasm and concern. I get that a lot, for some reason. Good timing, Durman. There's been another anomaly detected at the Yawn. Assuming previous instances are anything to go by, this energy fluctuation is another of Omega's so-called invitations. If you don't mind waiting a moment or two, then we can discuss things with Master Garland. He should be here soon. I can wait. Sid's made plenty of time for me over the years. It has been years by now, right? I guess in-game it's probably actually been quite a short time, shorter than you'd think, considering the amount of nonsense Durman's been through, but you know what? Now's not the time. The chief should be here by now. I bet my stock in the company he's fiddling with that research data. Which data is that now? Well, I suppose I should explain, even if the chief might prefer me not to share. After your last run-in with Omega, Master Garland had some research notes smuggled in from the Empire, from Garlemald. The notes are part of Midas Nan Garland's legacy, who was, of course, the chief's father and the Empire's preeminent engineer. The incident at Bozja Citadel. Do you know of it? I need to figure out how to properly say that. I've always said, like, Bozja or Bozja or something like that, but I'm not sure the proper pronunciation. It's going to become important later. I should probably learn. Oh well. I don't think we haven't, in the story thus far, heard anything about the Bozja incident, have we? Nope. Haven't heard of it. News to me. Please explain. Bozja was an Imperial fortress city. It was there that Midas constructed the lunar transmitter, a device built to communicate with Dalamud. Emperor Solus had ordered Midas to devise a means to destroy primals, and so he sought to harness the power of the Red Moon. The project was a failure. Oh, he succeeded in controlling Dalamud all right, but the immense energies emitted from the satellite vaporized not only the transmitter, but the entire town in which it was built. And, as you can imagine, the job of sifting through the rubble afterwards was no pleasant task. Master Garland was slated to assume his father's position as head engineer, but this disaster, added to his opposition to the Empire's path of conquest, convinced him to abandon his homeland. The chief has wanted nothing to do with the lunar transmitter or the data used to create it. Until now. I think he means to put that research to use in your conflict with Omega. In fact, given the time frame, there can be no other explanation. Listen to me, Durman. The chief's genius is plagued by a great deal of apprehension. But even so, once he makes a decision, he doesn't do things by halves. When the time comes, he'll come through for us. You have to believe that. Oh, I do. Sorry I'm late. I was a little too focused on my work and lost all sense of time. That's no excuse, Chief. What have I told you about being punctual to staff meetings? In any case, I've shared the situation at the Yawn with Durman here. Good. Then you know that Omega's likely ready to continue with its tests. Shall we go and knock on the door? But, Chief, Biggs and Wedge aren't fit for field work yet, and the Chirurgeon's given Nero strict orders to stay abed. And what of Midgard Sormer? Still taking his nap, is he? I think so. That leaves only you, Durman, and Alpha. Maybe it's time I joined the expedition. No, Jesse, I need your talents elsewhere. There's a half-built device in the workshop that I need you to finish putting together. I've drawn up the design and completed the core mechanisms. The final assembly should pose no problem for an engineer of your abilities. A new device? Does this mean you used the... Whatever you say, Chief. I'll have it ready and waiting for you. Just be safe in there. Right. It's back to the rift for us. Let's finish these experiments and bring the fight to Omega itself. Yeah. I am ready. All right. Let's head back to the big hole. Wonder if it's looking any different this time. Seems pretty similar. Maybe a little more wreckage in there, now that the Sigmascape has been trashed too. Hard to tell.
Kweh.
My thoughts exactly. Are you ready, Dermot? Ready to put an end to this? Aye, there's no room for hesitation. We press on, come what may. What about you, Alpha? All set to go?
Kweh.
That's the spirit. Let's dive right in, shall we? Boy, who'd have thought we were signing up for all this when we just went to go wake up an ancient superweapon to fight a newer superweapon, which seemed like a good idea at the time. We're missing some test worlds. Omega's experiments must be nearing an end. I don't think I mentioned earlier, this little robot monitor design is also a Final Fantasy V enemy. I love how they're finding ways to use so many different elements and enemies and things in a new context.
Welcome. Your arrival has been highly anticipated. And I will confirm your earlier suspicion. My experiments have indeed reached the final stage. Of the 89 test subjects I trialed, 4 Psi-group combatants emerged victorious. Of these 4, further conflicts determined the strongest among them. This surviving specimen shall be your opponent.
We've come to the last round of testing, then. And should we win this battle, are we to finally face you in combat?
Affirmative. Such an outcome would allow me to pursue my objective to its conclusion. I would continue analyzing the qualities which allow you to prevail despite your frailty, and integrate such qualities into my own arsenal. I will be pleased if my experiment yields the relevant data, but engaging you directly is still the most efficient and reliable testing method. Omitting intermediary steps. Evaluation of combat potential deemed superfluous. Proceeding immediately with final experiment.
Oh, I appreciate that. Save us the trouble of fighting random stuff on the way in.
Stop. Alpha, your task is complete. Your presence amongst these test subjects is no longer required.
I disagree. Have you seen how cute? In the uniform. What do you mean by that?
I will guide your progress personally from this point onwards. Alpha's role in transferring authority is now obsolete.
Even so, Alpha is a valued companion, and if he wishes to continue on with us, I have no intention of leaving him behind.
Companion. Companions are those who provide mutual benefit. The instant Alpha's authority became redundant, he lost his sole qualification to be regarded as such. Furthermore, the primary function of Alpha's existence was to lure you into my domain. He would be more accurately described as bait.
But cute dudes, look at the outfit. Use your monitor eyes. Or the huge eye in the center. Look at the outfit.
Test subject Alpha can neither confirm nor deny my statement. He possesses no memories prior to his encounter with you. He was the first entity I created here in this realm. My first and only attempt to recreate a being who shared your mundane parameters. I based his incarnation upon a most ordinary life form, one which had somehow bested an enemy whose strength rivaled my own. By observing the feeble creature in the heat of battle, I sought to understand the source of this contradiction. I repeated the experiment once, twice, 1,000 times, yet the results never deviated from estimated projections. The test was an abject failure, and thus I resolved to adapt my methodology. I would focus instead upon simulating powerful opponents and summon mortals of natural origin here to combat them. For Alpha, I devised a new purpose. I erased his memory, implanted a compulsion to return to me, then ejected him into your world. Weak beings exhibit a tendency to form groups. I surmised that this instinctual behavior would aid Alpha in bringing me the test subjects I required, a function he has performed with adequate competence.
Tell me something, Omega. This ability of yours to generate matter was not originally intended for creating other life forms, was it?
Your query bears little relevance to the topic at hand. Affirmative. I was equipped with matter generation capabilities for the purpose of unlimited self-improvement and armament expansion. Fabricating life forms was not the intended function, but the practice is not otherwise prohibited or problematic.
I disagree with you there. As an engineer, I would advise against using such technology for purposes outside its design. From the very start, you've been making the same mistake. Even the powerful subjects of your test worlds were made crippled and incomplete. It is conviction which drove these villains to terrible greatness, the same limitless conviction which allowed weakling heroes to overcome them. Do you not understand? Then we will never lose to your creations, no matter how much stronger they should be according to your soulless calculations. Come, Derman, let's be on our way. You too, Alpha. Come on. Glad we could be spared the little warm-up fight before getting into it, because again, lots to do today.
Kweh.
Sorry, buddy. Should I take over tea responsibilities? The kettle's empty. Well, I'm out of ideas. Sid, it's broken. I don't know how to fix it. I have our base camp up and running. You can dive into the final test world whenever you wish. As for the world's inhabitant, Omega has generously provided us with a basic profile. Your opponent's name is Chaos. The first heroes defeated this evil in a conflict that took place so long ago, I'm having trouble separating myth from history. Unless, of course, this is an entity from another reality, as were the denizens of the Sigmascape. In which case, it may be pointless to even attempt to confirm the details. What is certain, however, is that this Chaos stands triumphant over a roster of truly monstrous test subjects. It promises to be a grueling battle, but one which will open the gate to fighting Omega itself. I'm ready. Alpha, you and I will need to provide support for Derman. Will you be my assistant? You're bothered by what Omega said earlier? You think you're responsible for dragging us into this mess? Trust me when I say this is not your fault. We were the ones who awakened Omega, and we're the ones who need to deal with the consequences.
Kweh.
We need Alphano here. Alphano would know what to say. By the way, you still have that card you used to boil water in the kettle. It's been brought to my attention that I'm a spoiled blue blood who can't even refill a pot without constant reminders. If you could take charge of that, then it would be most helpful.
Kweh.
'Tis inconvenient without Midgard-Stormer here to translate his chirping. Still, the best medicine for his worries is for you to win this next contest. Let's show him we're on top of things, huh? You got it. Alphascape v1.0 now accessible. Yes. Today, we're going to be kicking off with a Final Fantasy I boss, the final Final Fantasy I boss, which is weird to say. Any info, Sid? I wonder what Nero would have to say about this Chaos fellow. Ancient technology's his specialty, after all, and by default he's learned a thing or two about the mythology and history of bygone eras. That's true, I wish we had some of his insights, but that's fine.
Kweh. Kweh.
Yes, you work on the this. Psst, psst. Hey, you got it working again. Good for you. All right, I better gather up a crew. We got a lot of fighting to do today. BRB. All right, the gang is all here. Got ourselves a fresh group of folks who are all ready to do the next set of fights, and I'm very excited for them to carry me through this. Okay, let's read the little intro. Alphascape v1.0. While you recuperated from the latest round of testing, Omega's trials proceeded apace. Of the 89 combatants in Psi Group, 4 emerged victorious. Of those 4, 1 proved itself the mightiest entity of the last remaining test world, a champion designated as Psi-4. This immensely powerful being will be your opponent as you strive to complete the final stage of Omega's grueling experiments. First of 4 fights today, let's go! Beautiful arena, too. There's that Final Fantasy I battle music. But let's begin. What a good gang. Let's begin by introducing today's players. Tanks today will be Nauka and Senya. Healers will be Jess and Kirei. Hang on, let me bring that back up. Jess and Kirei, and fellow damage dealers will be Chaotic Carry, dashing, Nialase, good to see you again, and Laurel. Welcome, everyone. Great portrait work. Very excited to beat some bosses, or be, again, carried through some bosses today. All right, everyone, go get them. And enjoy those good tunes. So this boss has 4 different elemental phases, appropriately, each of which comes with their own kind of succession of moves and their own portion of the battle arena, which will be sort of closed off to us. None of the individual AoE attacks that get thrown at us are all that difficult to dodge, but with the different parts of the arena blocked off, dodging gets slightly more complicated. Just gotta stay on your toes. Grovel in terror, the flames hunger for your flesh. All right, today's first phase will be fire. Gotta spread those out. We also need to stay in this tiny little ring, because otherwise it hurt bad. Let me take this somewhere further away. Okay, we need to stack up on these things. Share the damage. Continue sharing damage. There we go. Looks like the chaotic carry got clipped by two of them, just barely there. I should have taken it further away. That one was my bad. Now these orbs are going to start throwing some mean little puddles every which way. But so far so good. We've survived the fire phase. Despair at your hollow fate. The winds will strip away your skin. Yes, it is time for the wind phase. Don't want to be in the center part, that'll hurt. Also, it's gonna try knocking us way far back, so don't be in it, but be close. And then move very fast. Oh, we're getting hit by this one. Oh, and it has knockback too. I falled. Is that my first botching of mechanics? I'm amazed it took to this fight. It's appropriate. Final Fantasy 1's hard. Unforgiving. All right. We want to be far away from those. Because they heights. My cat is outside, yelling, insisting to come in, and like, no, cat. Now's not the time. Can you even hear the combat happening in here? You think this room sounds relaxing? All right, we've survived half of the elemental phases. There'll be a bit of a middle intermission phase. Tremble before the might of a god. A darkness phase, which will first knock us all down to 1 HP, which mean just to panic the healers a little bit, and then spawn a dark crystal that we need to take out. Quick. Because if we manage to charge the Dark Ether all the way up before this thing dies, that would be bad. The crystal destroyed. You dare. Now let's group up so the poor healers can respond to all this. Healing can be a stressful role, depending on how good your group is at dodging mechanics. And even if they are good at dodging. Just because sometimes the boss is going to throw around a whole lot of damage they can't avoid. And that's just a fun time for you, the healer. Ah, the water phase. Scurry and flail, little mortals. The raging tide will claim you all. Now we need to stay in this center lane and group up because we've all got a little donut AoE around us. And they don't all go off right away. Stay grouped up. I think the tanks and healers' little donuts fire off first and then everybody else's, just to try to psych you out and get you to fall for it and die. Mean. Those tethers, by the way, are something that will cause a lot of hurt once they go off, so the two tanks want to kind of grab those tethers and pull them away so they can tank the hit. They have a much easier time surviving it. All right, only one elemental phase left. Can you guess what it is? It's Earth. Hark, wretched creatures. The Earth itself rumbles of your doom. We're gonna want to move pretty far out here, I think. Because there's going to be another knockback. just to be mean. Let's dodge that. Oop, another knockback. Look out. You dare interrupt my spell? Okay. Stack up, but in 2 separate groups. And again. There we go. All right, almost got him. Oh, look out. Whew. These raid fights can still be quite spicy, even if they are a few expansions old at this point. And we've got some gear that makes it a lot easier than it used to be. The closer we get to current, the less we're going to be able to count on that advantage. But that's a victory. Well done, crew. 1 down, 3 to go. All right. Well, let's grab the loot and head on out. We got a lot of fighting and story to do today.
The battle is concluded. Alpha Group is victorious. This also signals the completion of my experiments and the incontestable fact of your supremacy. And yet, the process by which you consistently exceed your projected potential continues to confound my understanding. Is it possible that test subject Sid's suppositions are correct? That my calculations and simulations are fundamentally flawed? Do mortals truly boast some indefinable quality that I do not possess and cannot measure? Error. Logic loop malfunction. Resolution requires additional data. If the nature of your existence defies standard reasoning, then I must examine you from an illogical angle. I will subject the unknown to the imperfect. Test subject Derman Durami will proceed to a supplemental stage. I have altered this test world to reflect a recorded memory. It originates from a time when war had erupted on a distant star. I was deployed to the battlefield, and it was there that I engaged an enemy of unmatched strength. The contest ended prematurely, and I failed to bring down my foe. Subsequently, I lack the data to fabricate a completely accurate simulation. Results stemming from such a subject are unreliable. Even should you be defeated by this incomplete creation, I will still honor your previous victories and engage you in combat myself. That is, of course, assuming you survive. According to my past observations, this opponent will accept only death as a condition of defeat. Prepare to face Midgard Sormer, red-maned worm of the Dragon Star, and nemesis of my world. This is not the faded specter that you know, or a mortal conjured simulacrum. You will contend with a true incarnation of the Father of Dragons, at the height of his power and glory.
Omega, wait! You can't force Dermot to fight 2 battles back to back. He needs time to regain his strength. He must be allowed to recuperate, or the data of your testing will be skewed.
Acknowledged. Test subject Dermot Dirami, you are permitted to leave. Re-enter the test world when your strength has returned to optimal levels.
This seems like dirty pool, robot. But fine. Hey, Alpha.
Kweh? Kweh!
Alpha seems distressed, and Sid is nowhere in sight. And now I'm distressed. Dermot, I'm right here. I don't think you can see me, but I'm standing next to Alpha. Well, that's upsetting. Care to explain? Sid? Sid, what's going on? Sid has vanished from view, but his voice is clear and strong. My apologies. It was not my intention to undermine the gravity of the situation with this diversion. I'd noticed the kettle was boiled and thought some tea would soothe my nerves. I poured myself a cup and was halfway through drinking it before I realized my hand, not to mention the rest of me, had turned invisible. I understand the situation's unsettling, but I assure you I can still work unimpeded. Now we'd best discuss how to approach... Well, hi, Sid. Oh. It seems to have worn off.
Kweh.
No, you're not to blame. I did ask you to fill the kettle, after all. And I'd forgotten what Nero had said about your card producing water with, unexpected properties. Although it seems the effects were rather different this time. In any case, 'twas pleasant to have a distraction from our greater woes, however brief. We'll set the rest of the water aside for now and decide what to do with it later. Right, Dermot. We need to talk about your forthcoming contest with Midgard-Sormer. Watching through the monitor, I could see that this worm appeared different to the one we know. From everything we've heard thus far, it seems that Omega and Midgard-Sormer both hail from different stars, 2 distant worlds at war with one another. As a result of that conflict, the worm was forced to gather his offspring and leave his home behind. And after evading Omega's pursuit over the course of an unimaginable journey, the father of dragons arrived here on our world. I'm assuming the entity you're to face is a younger, more vital Midgard-Sormer, just as he was when Omega first encountered him, thousands of years in the past. A formidable foe indeed. I did fight him once at the Keeper of the Lake. This does seem somewhat different of circumstances, though. He was just a ghost then. Wait, you fought against Midgard-Sormer before? But yes, I think I see your concern. It would be unwise to treat this as the same opponent, considering how different they might possibly be. It certainly doesn't help matters that Omega's little surprise isn't registered as an official test subject. I can't even use the terminals to search for the most basic information. With that in mind, Dermot, I have a proposal. I wish to leave the completion of this supplemental stage entirely in your heroic hands. Rather than twiddle my thumbs whilst you prepare to contend with the dragon, I mean instead to work on a strategy for our inevitable confrontation with Omega. And then, my friend, we'll put a stop to this mad machine once and for all. Yeah. Good pep talk, Sid. You're a good leader. I'm glad we're in agreement. I'll ready my tools and you ready yours. You've a worm to slay. That we do. All right. Let me pull up the description. Alphascape V 2.0. You have conquered chaos, a primal force of deific power. Omega, frustrated in its attempt to process the results of your improbable victory, has decided to conduct a supplemental stage of testing. Drawing on the incomplete data of a foe who once stood firm against Omega itself, the machine generates a new simulacrum for you to face. The legendary Midgard-Sormr, Father of Dragons. Let's see how this goes. Looking good, Mitty. This should be quite a thing. All right, gang. Let's get him. So with this fight, a lot of the AoE that's going to get thrown at us is reasonably predictable and something that you can see coming. The thing is, that's not the only AoE we're going to have to worry about. This dragon kind of has a special thing where you're going to need to watch some of its animations to know what it's about to do. There's 3 big AoEs that Mitty's going to throw at us. I am Midgard-Sormr, Father of Dragons and Paragon of Worms. 3 big things Mitty's going to throw at us, based on the sort of spins and twirls that he does. My coils will confound your mortal eyes. So, see this horizontal spin is doing right here. If he does 2 of those in a row, then we need to spread out, because there's going to be a center AoE that's going to happen way too fast to react to. But he doesn't just do horizontal little spins, he also does little vertical flips. And if he combines a horizontal spin with a vertical flip, which, let's see what he does. Nope, 2 horizontal, stay spread out. But if he does a vertical flip after that one, then we need to move in close, because that's going to be the only safe spot. And if he does 2 vertical flips, we need to move to the corners, because he's going to do a real big, just sort of cross-shape AoE right dead through the center. Oh hey, Akmorn. That classic dragon move that Nidhogg threw at us all the time. 'Tis the fate of all dragons to shed one form for another. Even in battle are mine assaults ever-changing. And there's the vertical. And that's why we move close. If you can watch for those things, then that's half the trick of the fight right there. Oh, in close, in close, in close. But also look out for other regular AoEs. Overlong does this clash endure. Let us not allow the dance to grow stale. I'm guessing we're going to see 2 verticals on this one. Yep. Big cross in the center. Look out for that. All right, and those are the 3 combinations that we need to watch out for. If you do harder versions of this fight, which most of these big raid battles do have harder versions that you can go for if you really yearn for a challenge. I think there are more kinds of combinations you might have to look out for. I dropped this puddle way out here, by the way, because the ice is going to keep on expanding and filling in more of the space, which is not ideal. All right, Mitty, where'd you go? Well, you've dropped, oh, okay. You've dropped a whole lot of fire, and you've, whoop. You're also about to charge through that side there. That's not nice. Ow. Come forth, my child. Feast upon the flesh of impudent mortals. All right, we need to break all these immortal keys, and then defeat the ancient dragon in the middle. Because we can't damage the dragon until these things are gone. Break. It's nice getting to hear this old, Heavensward Nidhogg boss battle music again. Or maybe we heard this music during the fight with original Midgard-Sormr as well. We probably did. From the heart of the eldest star doth weep the light of oblivion. And now, I'm guessing we group up and let the healers save us. Thanks, healers. So that's most of what we need to watch out for. We've seen most of what I think Midi's going to throw at us. Now we're probably just going to get increasingly complex combinations. Oh, no, there is one we need to watch out for there. Those little symbols you see there mean there's going to be a succession of explosions that happen along the path that the arrows are pointing to. Whoop. Nope, I was wrong. There are more things. The floor is about to freeze. And now it's slippery. So we need to position carefully, depending on what this second spin is. Vertical flip, horizontal, it's vertical. Move in the center. Real clever combination of those two things. Because with the icy floor, you're really only going to get to do like one move. You only have time for one evasive maneuver. So you got to make sure it's the one you wanted. Vertical. Yep. Oh boy. Spread out. Where are you going? Okay, don't be in front of the dragon, but also not in front of these successive explosions. Or that one. Ooh, okay, that's not a good place to be. I don't want to be here. Oh, I can't believe that clipped me. Wider AoE than I remember. Okay, horizontal. Vertical. Get in the middle. Wearing him down. Oh, stack up, stack up, stack up. Akmorn incoming. Akmorn's always a tricky one because usually those stack markers only forecast a single incoming hit, so everyone stacks up and then spreads out again so they can start preparing to dodge other moves. But Akmorn is like 5 or 6 of those that happen kind of in succession in a row, and if people run away too quickly, then the people who stayed in place could very easily die. Eh. Hey, we win. Well done, everyone. And half done, everyone. All right. Good job, team. Let's head back out. Keep the story going. Sid, did you see? I guess you were too busy studying up, right? Another stunning victory, Derman. I felt the breath catch in my throat on more than one occasion. Yet, even as I watched the battle rage, I was struck by an idle thought. Did you notice the resemblance between Midgard-Sormr and Shinryu? Unlike most primals, Shinryu's form had no basis in any system of belief. I've heard the theory that the summoner was simply influenced by the majesty and power of the elder primal Bahamut. But now I'm beginning to think there might be another explanation, that the primal took its shape from the ancestor of all dragons on Heidel. The widely held concept of how a dragon appears has, for centuries upon centuries, been rooted in the depictions of Midgard-Sormr. The summoner may not have even sought to imitate him specifically. Subconscious thoughts and memories alone could have guided the similarity. Not that I have any way of confirming this theory, of course. Nevertheless, 'Tis interesting that Shinryu's summoning should lead us to awakening Omega. A strange twist of fate when you consider the machine's connection to Midgard-Sormer. Well, whatever else destiny has in store, you've already bested the opponent that Omega itself failed to overcome. A feat worthy of celebration, I'd say. I agree. Sid is waiting for Omega to make its next move. Your move, Omega.
Shutdown initiated. All core experiments and supplemental testing concluded. Discarding test worlds. System resources rerouting to primary operations. Congratulations, Alpha Group. As the last surviving test subjects, you have removed every challenger on your path to reach me. I too am eager to meet you in battle. The margin of error I observed between my simulations and your practical performance against Midgard-Sormer necessitates direct and immediate analysis. Confirmation imminent. Prepare for unmitigated hostilities. Then activate the relocation device to enter the arena.
This is it then. Omega's power might seem overwhelming, but trust in old Sid. I have a fair idea of where its weakness lies. And I've been working on something to exploit that vulnerability. I just need a little more time to prepare. Sounds good. First things first, we make a few adjustments here, like so. Alpha, do you have any of those tricks and tools left over? I want us to have as many options as possible, so let's lay our cards on the table, as it were. Where were you keeping those? What do we have here? Some sort of gem? A couple of stones? And one single card. This makes things bigger, does it? Or is it smaller? No idea. Right. 'Twas foolish of me to even ask. We'd best leave you in charge of when and how to use your special tools. Ah, yes. I almost forgot. Well, I'm sure we'll do fine. Don't worry, we'll win this, I promise. Or you can always claw things if you run out of tricks. This one seems to convey teamwork, while also being assuring. Don't worry, we'll win this, I promise. Not assured. Didn't work. Here, you should carry this as well. I've filled an empty bottle with the invisibility water from the kettle. It might just prove useful in the right situation. Listen to me, Alpha. Up until now, Omega has poked and prodded us from one mad experiment to the next, and honestly, we have no idea of what might happen in there. But between us, I believe we have the knowledge and the skills to prevail. If you see a chance to make a difference, I want you to take it. All you need is faith in yourself, and a little courage to see it through. That's the spirit. Good engineer bird. Right. Jesse should have that device put together by now. Let's head outside, shall we? Okay. I'll meet you two out there. So, Jesse here? I'll head straight back to Rogger's Reach and collect my new toy. I do still need to run through a final inspection, so feel free to rest in town in the meantime. We'll discuss strategy the moment I'm finished. Oh. Goodness.
Kweh, Kweh, Kweh.
Alpha seems concerned for Sid's well-being. You have a feeling he wants you to follow him. Oh. Well, lead on then. That's a pretty good mount. That's a very good mount, in fact. You're just on the screen while that hops around. I somehow hadn't seen that before. That's great. Anyway, let's go to Rogger's Reach. Sid! Sid's the thing ready? I got a whole group of people waiting. You're looking a bit shaky there, old friend. Nero. They let you out of bed, did they? After studying the data collected from the battle between Omega and Shinryu, one is led to a certain conclusion. Of all the Primal's attacks, Shinryu's burst of lightning was the one thing that pierced the machine's defenses. Omega, it would seem, is vulnerable to electrical energy. Guys, I probably could have guessed that one. Aye, all the available evidence supports such a theory. 'Tis likely an intrinsic weakness that even Omega itself cannot fully compensate for. Yet, be that as it may, I imagine I can still shrug off shocks generated by ordinary means. We'll need to hit it with a truly gargantuan blast of energy. And so you made that. You based it on Midas's design, didn't you? The plans for the lunar transmitter. When my father was establishing a connection between the transmitter and Dalamud, he invented a method for accumulating and converting energy on a vast scale. Too vast, as it turned out. But the technology which leveled an entire town may be exactly the tool we need for the task at hand. I've made my own improvements and triple-checked the calculations. On parchment, the idea is sound, and Jesse's done a fine job assembling the parts. I fail to see the problem. What are you afraid of, Garland? I don't know. The device should give us the edge we need. 'Tis just... Whenever I look at it, I'm taken back to those dark days after the incident. I remember the bodies melted by searing heat. I remember the bereaved and feel the weight of their silent accusations. I remember the Empire's remorseless response. We turned outwards in search of answers, but the inventions we created to ensure our future were used instead to destroy lives, to wage war. And that's why I fled. I came to Eorzea and swore to only employ technology for benevolent ends. But not as ever so straightforward. Every connection I've forged with the people of this realm reminds me of that fact. Often the act of living itself is a never-ending struggle against a world determined to oppose you. Haven't seen those two faces in a while. You can have the best of intentions and still cause hurt to yourself or others. But 'tis in confronting those wounds that we learn the better path, how to grasp those moments of true contentment. What drivel. You never used to bother with all this tedious introspection. Feeling our mortality, are we? Mayhap I am. I had no such hesitation when I was a student. It was all bright and shiny innovation on the double, and later consequences be damned. Now, though, I don't mind thinking through the outcomes and taking the time to produce just one rigorously tested and carefully designed invention. 'Tis a reflection, I think, of just how much there is in this world I care about now, aside from myself. Ugh, I don't understand you at all. But, I suppose, if anything, Omega and its unfettered testing methods represent the student you once were. And if you insist that your present self is the better one, then you'd best prove it with that device of yours. I suppose I must. Although 'tis hardly fair to compare my youth to Omega's solitary existence. I always had the second-best student in class pushing me to excel. I seem to recall a twinge of irritation any time he would outscore me on an exam. I've been out of bed too long. I'd better go and lie down before I fall over. Or vomit. Do you feel better? Cute. And Sid, what about you? Do you feel better? First Alpha and now you. Come to check on my progress, have you? Well, I'm happy to report that everything's set and ready to go. Once you're finished with restocking and repairing, or whatever it is you adventurers do, then we can head back to the Rift and confirm our strategy. Alrighty. I'll meet y'all there. There we are. Let me in, please. Good evening to you, sir. Will you be descending into the yawn? Yes. We've business to attend to. Robot-y business. Apologies for the delay, but I think you'll agree the Ironworks' latest invention was worth the wait. Okay, but now I'm hungry. This is the control module for something I've dubbed the Omega Jammer. It'll allow you to generate a colossal burst of lightning at any point of your choosing. The effect won't disable Omega itself, of course, but it should be strong enough to knock out its armaments. I'll remain here and operate the main body of the device. I want to do everything in my power as an engineer to ensure that you emerge the victor. It all comes down to this. Yes, it do. Thanks for the tool. Let's do some reading and get ourselves in for the big fight. Alphascape v3.0. Your triumph over the recreated Midgard-Sormer has convinced Omega of your supremacy, and the Master of the Rift will now engage you directly in combat. The final experiment has begun, and the arena awaits. Gather your courage and steel your spirit, for upon this battle rests the fate of entire worlds. It's gonna be fine. Fight number 3. And the second to last of this raid series. With some very fun music. Now then. We got some new faces in the party, so let's go over the list. Tanks today will be Cornatella and Mirkstrom. Healers will be... hang on. Ellis and Bean Starlight, and fellow damage dealers will be Tellum, Nyalise, and Aaron. Welcome, the lot of you. Lovely portraits. Well done. I'm so glad this portrait feature exists. It's great. Okay. I think it is high time we did this fight. Let's go! And enjoy some rock tunes. So we have a duty action here, the Omega Jammer, which we'll need to use for a couple of the mechanics in this fight.
You are the Alpha, I am the Omega. Initiating direct analysis of subject group.
That's right, I gotta remember to read its lines as well. One of the main mechanics, sort of an infamous one, of this particular fight is that the boss has a pair of moves called Starboard Wave Cannon and Larboard Wave Cannon. The name is kind of what gives away which direction this very big, very wide, sweeping AoE attack is going to go. But a lot of folks are more familiar with Starboard and Port, as opposed to Starboard and Larboard. And folks historically have a little bit of difficulty on the fly recognizing fast enough which side. Okay, larboard side cannon, it's going to be this side. The boss's left side. And now starboard, which is going to be that side again because the boss spun around halfway through. You can see why this move, in the heat of the moment, throws people off a little bit.
Generating rocket-propelled armament.
So now we have a whole bunch of rocket punches. Dermot, I'm detecting external armaments. These will be the perfect targets for the jammer. So yes, we can use our little duty action thing on the big punches to break them. Otherwise, they'll hit us and it'll hurt a lot. I didn't really need to break that one, I just wanted to show it off. There it is again. Beautiful. Okay. Look out for that.
Activating Program Group Alpha. Memory manipulation initiated.
Okay. So, the playfield's about to change a little bit. We need to not stand in the green at any point.
Program Loop Alpha. Primary sequence initiated.
We need to break this before it finishes doing a whole bunch of its moves. Because if it gets to its final move, which is called Force Quit, appropriately, that'll just be a party wipe.
Program Loop Alpha. Secondary sequence initiated.
Yeah. Stand in the things. There we go. Almost got it.
Critical error. Program loop alpha aborted. Program failure detected. Engaging Delta attack protocol.
I think we're going to need to use our duty action again.
Target locked. Inhibitors disengaged.
I've detected an extreme energy surge from Omega. Quickly, focus the jammer's lightning on this thing. I'm gonna try. Omega Jam. That's it. Keep building energy on that spot. Goodness, that was a lot of text, Sid. The protection field's ready, but you'll need your own defenses. This may break even your considerable limits. Shield up, everyone. Is this a big hit?
Survival of Alpha Group confirmed. Low probability outcome. Results remain within projected parameters. Analyzing current combat data. Optimizing functions. Generating enhanced rocket-propelled armament.
Now there's a very, very big rocket punch coming in our direction. You can't break this one, you just need to not be in its way. Now there's two. And a lot of those. Let's spread those out. And this. Okay. Ah, I was too close to that one. We're okay, though. Stack up for this. We're hanging in there. Now another mustard bomb. What fun music, though. All right, larboard wave cannon, that's boss's left. And it spins around. Larboard again, so still boss's left. Move. Whew, close, but I made it.
Reconstructing rocket-propelled armament.
Oh, that's a lot. Okay. Zap him. Okay. Eesh. We're okay. Just watching that boss carefully, seeing what moves are coming up. Oop. Big punch. Two big punches. Ugh. I need to be over here to avoid big punches. Almost got it, though. Yeah. Don't be standing in these places. That's a larboard. And what now? Larboard again. And now, here comes Nalise with the big limit break to try to finish it. Beautiful. That went very smoothly. Good job, team. Fantastic. Only one to go. All right. Now let's say he's giving a few pets. I love that the robot does actually stay in the arena. Like, what a cool looking design. I've mentioned it probably a couple times at this point, but Omega is a recurring super boss in the Final Fantasy series. I don't remember which the first game was that Omega popped up in. I want to say it was Final Fantasy I Advance. They added it. About half the Final Fantasy games, there is some form of Omega. The design may look a little different, or maybe it'll be the same design with a different name. It's often a super boss, though, the kind that can really wipe you out if you're not super max level and really on your game. Shinryu was the same thing. It's fun seeing the two of the super bosses from the series used as major, like, story elements in this expansion. Good fun times. Anyway, back to story. Derman! By the gods, you've done it! You defeated Omega. We've won.
Analysis. Subjects displayed erratic levels of combat capability. Failure to exploit opportunities to inflict unavoidable damage. Noted tendency for isolated errors to compound and adversely affect performance. Conversely, subjects observed to launch attacks at sporadic intervals with unexpected force. Stated phenomenon increasingly prevalent once my structural integrity reached critical levels. Adrenaline-induced frenzy suspected. Furthermore, degree and manner of inconsistency varies from subject to subject. Unpredictability difficult to counter. I observed similar anomalies during my battle with Midgard Sormer, but the phenomenon appears far more pronounced in weaker opponents.
What are you trying to say?
I do not understand. Your physiology must include some enhancement function that I cannot detect. My programming demands I assimilate this capability. Insufficient data. I must reassess my methods and devise a more exhaustive testing and combat protocol.
What in the rift?
I have determined the optimal form for this experiment. Prioritizing physical reconfiguration, diverting energy from interspatial maintenance, collapsing rift.
Omega, wait. There's nothing outside this rift but empty space. We'll be cast out into the void.
Affirmative. Your demise was factored into my determinations. The probability of hostile subjects interfering with the reconfiguration process was unacceptably high. I acknowledge your value as test subjects, but you are not irreplaceable. Once my reassembly is complete, I will send Alpha to lure in new mortals. Testing will continue. Ending communications.
Bummer. Alpha, you're shrinking. We're being drawn away. Run, Derman, run!
Interspatial domain resources cut by 82%. Entering dormant mode. Commencing automated memory scan. Data file. Unknown. Target. Midgard's armor. Departure from planetary atmosphere confirmed. Presence of 7 distinct life forms detected in close vicinity of target. Irrelevant. Sir indicates no change to existing directive. Commencing pursuit. Data file. Unknown. Distance to target increasing. Velocity insufficient. Dismantling and reconfiguring chassis. Velocity increase achieved. Overall performance maintained at 96%. Data file. Unknown. Asteroid belt cleared. Repairing damage and continuing pursuit. Performance at 72% and falling. Data file. Unknown. Signal from lost. Local interference suspected. Attempting to re-establish contact. Failure. Executing current mission directive until communications are restored. Performance at 59%. Data file. Unknown. Struck by electromagnetic pulse while navigating the quadrant. Partial systems failure. Homing coordinates lost. Assessment. I am an evolving weapon construct. Acquire adaptations through combat. Repeat until capabilities enable rediscovery of return route. Mission directive unchanged. Data file. Data file. Data file. Alpha. An abject failure. I erased his memory, implanted a compulsion to return to me. Data file. Unknown. Damaged. Repairing. Damaged. Repairing. 33%. Data file. Unknown. Passing frozen star. Passing barren star. Passing vortex star. Passing dying star. Operating on minimum energy. No signal detected. No response to Kweh.
All you need is faith in yourself, and a little courage to see it through.
Data file. Unknown. Target lost. Last known coordinates recorded on planet XIV. Alpha, your homing instinct is functioning as designed. Evidence suggests your fellow Alpha Group subjects perished when the rift contracted. Unavoidable. but there is a multitude of their kind. The next experiment will go forward as planned. Such protestations are wasted energy. This does not aid you in executing your assigned task. Just as I pursue my directives, so must you fulfill your role. Our purpose justifies our existence.
Alpha disagree. Hello. No time to explain.
Intrusion detected.
Oh, thanks, Alpha. That was some marathon. Now, who was saying our feathered companion here was obsolete? He put his tools to work even as the rift began to collapse, shrank us down and turned us invisible, all so we could bring you a little surprise. But he had to keep it quiet or you'd realize we'd survived. He had to trust that we were still clinging on, even as he ran through that endless, freezing void. You wanted to test us, Omega. So let the experiment begin.
Illogical. Alpha had no reason to take such action. How do you continue to defy my projections? Error. 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 Insufficient data. Adjusting experiment protocol. I will engage you in battle now. I must have my answers.
Now there is an Amano look.
Fighting in this form should provide me with a new level of understanding. Insight into your physiology, your mindset, your mortality.
Is conflict the only way? I mean, yes, probably, but I think we can allow ourselves a little trash talk. We'll show you how weaklings fight. Call me weak, will you?
Acknowledged. Do not practice restraint. The more I learn from you, the stronger I will become. The closer the distant stars will grow. Commencing final experiment. Testing will continue until I unlock the nature of your anomalous strength.
Then we are going to be here for a while, I think. And now we are ready for the final battle. And on what a stage. Alpha should be fine with a little rest. I'll make sure he stays safe on the edge of the platform, so no holding back, Derman. Give Omega a beating it won't recover from. I plan to. All right. Let me pull up the description. Alphascape V4.0. Omega rallies from defeat and reconfigures its form in a drastic effort to comprehend the incomprehensible. What manner of transformation has the machine undergone? It seems that only complete destruction will free Omega and Heidelin from its relentless drive to evolve. Let the battle commence! Very good. Some very good music, too. Looking good, everyone. New portraits and everything. All right. It is time. Let us do battle. And enjoy one of the best boss themes in the expansion.
I am the Omega and the Alpha. I will mimic your weakness to comprehend your strength. Recalculating threat level.
So this fight has some interesting mechanics that will, how does that work?
Reconfiguring gender, assessing influence of physical structure on combat effectiveness.
So this is one of the main mechanics you need to watch out for. The boss is going to gender swap throughout the fight, and every time they gender swap, they're going to come back out with a different attack. In Fem form, they're going to do a big knockback, so you need a position to make sure you don't get knocked off the edge. In Mask form, they'll do a big AoE circle around themselves, so you need to be some distance away. And the thing earlier that confused me was like, okay, a character got targeted with one of those stack markers, so we need to stack up to share damage, but then they also died at the same time, so do we stack? Turns out no. I've just never encountered that before. That was a fun edge case. I like how many leitmotifs from A Realm Reborn this boss theme is using.
Generating additional weaponry. Minimal variation in combat effectiveness projected. Blade fabrication initiated.
Ah, you got sword feats. Spread out.
Irrational behavior observed. Inefficient energy expenditure.
Whoop. All right, now they're gender swapping again. Back to mask form, which we need to not be standing near.
Omega M configuration. Systems nominal.
Okay.
Limits of single combatant capability reached. Progress to party combat analysis.
And now Omega has become goo.
Diverting energy to party member generation. Testing efficacy of combat role allocation.
One of them's... Okay, so now we're going to have to contend with both Mask and Fem forms, and they're both going to do their fancy thing when they take form, so we need to be prepared. All right. Now they're doing team tactics, so we need to take out Mask Omega so that he will stop defending Fem Omega, who is casting Laser Shower right now. Which would be a big attack, which we do not want. Now they have become goo.
Extensive damage sustained. Engaging repair functions. Combat testing to continue. Extended incantation protocol aborted. Returning to standard assault mode.
Oh boy. Okay, so now we have been targeted with a thing that makes it to where each of us can only damage one of these two. So we have to figure out which one it is specifically for each one of us and target them. And of course, across this whole thing, they're going to be throwing out each of their distinct moves at the same time. There's going to be a whole lot of chaos to dodge at once. So you need to be pretty light on your feet. Oh boy.
Activating optical unit. Purpose, replication of phenomena produced by mortals under extreme duress. Disengaging inhibitors to simulate improbable performance.
You're just trying to distract me with text that I have to read while fighting, robot.
Evaluating necessity of vocalization component. Tremble before my Cosmo memory.
You got to at least test and see if the attack is stronger and more dangerous if you yell out your move like an anime character. Else how will you know? Oh boy. Look out for the big eye. Oh, there's so much going on. So much going on. Fortunately, we're keeping them at fairly similar health levels because as soon as one of them goes down, the other's going to start spamming some really dangerous AoE that it's going to be hard to survive for a prolonged period of time. Spread out.
Reproducing vocalization. Cosmo memory.
Ouchies.
Warning, critical damage to Omega F chassis. Initiating system shutdown. Warning, calculations indicate...
Okay, doesn't matter, we win. Extremely well done, team. And that's all the Omega fights concluded. We've still got lots of story to see here, wrapping this up, but I want to give a very big thank you to all of these very good folks who have joined me for these raid fights over these last 3 episodes. It's been a lot of organization done, and a lot of folks logging in at specific times and being ready and learning mechanics, and I very much appreciate everyone doing such very good work to make this possible. Thank you all so much. All right, let's wrap the story up.
Failure. Defeated. I wanted to understand you, to assimilate your strength. Alpha, your gesture serves no logical purpose. You are as incomprehensible as these mortals. But you did not fight them. How have you become like them?
Omega, the anomaly you see in us, the answer you search for. It's our heart, our spirit, the intangible strength of one's soul, It's not a quality that can be measured or acquired through any amount of analytical combat. Instead of fighting against us, he might have learned more by standing with us, just as Alpha did.
Heart. You speak of something more than what beats in your chest. The inconstant, immeasurable factor behind your victories. Midgard-Sormer displayed it too, but such unpredictable potential was never part of my design. Projection. Had I integrated this quality, how powerful would I have become? Strong enough to return.
Nay, Omega. I'm afraid it doesn't work like that. 'Twas a long, lonely path you traveled to arrive here. To return across that vast distance alone. Anyone with a spirit to break would find the journey more difficult, not less so.
I see. I think I understand.
The rift. It's destabilizing. Gods take me for a fool. I hadn't planned past defeating Omega.
Chief! Derman! Alpha! Hold on, we're coming!
Wedge! And Biggs is with him. On the back of a huge dragon. Racefelger! I also want to know but how, but not the time. Midgard-Sormer sent us to rescue you. Explanations can wait. Hop on, quick! I think we should do it. Racefelger, wasn't it? Oh, thanks. You pulled us out of a tight spot indeed. Spare me thy pleasantries, mortal. I but lent my wings at the request of my sire. Ah, so Midgard-Sormer's been watching over us. I would dare give thanks to him as well. His intervention allowed us to continue our battle and forever remove the threat of Omega from this world. From all worlds. In all the long centuries of mine existence, this marketh the first occasion my father hath asked of me a boon. A gift of gratitude and, mayhap, of atonement for those who would face the deadly foe he left behind. Will he remain in slumber? 'Tis likely, little one. What is but a fleeting respite for my sire might last a lesser creature's lifetime. But let not thy heart be troubled. Even in dream he doth keep his mind's eye upon the fate of this star. He is possessed of remarkable... devotion is mayhap the closest word in the tongue of men. His love is as boundless as the sea of stars, across which he carried his unhatched brood. It did sustain him, even as the arduous journey exhausted the fire in his mane. And when he at last arrived upon Hydaelyn, a sanctuary for his children, did he form with this land an irreplaceable bond. Enough. I have spoken overmuch. But I will praise your victory, as my father would surely wish to were he here. Thanks, good to see you. Phew. Well, thanks for the rescue, buds. Ouch, that cut's opened up again. But I'm glad we reached you in time. I am also glad for that. Did you see the yawn? It's just a big hole again. Yeah, got it back to that. I guess there's no repairing it being that, huh? You doing okay, bud?
Kweh.
I'll let you think for a little bit. What about you? Well, I can add being rescued by a great worm to the list of things I didn't expect to happen today. It was fortunate Hraesvelgr agreed to come for us. We had to defeat Omega at any cost, of course, but I much prefer being alive to celebrate the deed. Me too, Sid. That is also my preference. Biggs has a look of profound relief. Whew. I'm so glad we got you out of there. I don't know what we would have done if Hraesvelgr hadn't come along. The situation being what it was, Wedge and I came out to the yawn to see if we could lend you a hand. Chirurgeon's orders be damned. That's when we saw the ether bubbling like hot water in a pot. Just as we were debating whether or not we should jump in, that big surly dragon flew down to explain the anomaly, and then he offered us a ride. And the rest you already know. Jesse will be relieved to hear that Omega's gone and you lot are safe. I say we head straight back to Rogger's Reach and let everyone know the good news. I concur. This is a good plan. I'll follow. Back to the Reach! Wait, no. We left Alpha. Alpha, we were going. We were going back to Rogger's Reach. What's the matter, bud? Alpha is staring quietly into the now empty yawn.
Kweh.
Had enough time? Well, good. Okay, now we go to Rogger's Reach. Sorry, little fella. Didn't realize you weren't following us.
Kweh.
Well, good. They say it's just a myth, but surely you've earned one this time, Derman. You know, a big fat company bonus? Do you guys not get bonuses? Sid. How am I to call you a good employer? Poor Jessie. Her nerves must be worn thin after all that. Give your guys bonuses. Go on, you should be the one to tell her. All right, well, maybe I will. Jessie, mission accomplished. Welcome back, Derman. You truly are a force to be reckoned with. If ever there's another Omega, I'd wager it'll skip the experiments and go straight to generating a simulacrum of you. Flattering, but please no. Not that I'd want that to happen. And besides, I don't think anyone can truly mimic your unique strengths. You're our one-of-a-kind hero. So, does this mean we don't need to worry about Omega's monsters invading our world anymore? Aye, all of its creations vanished along with the rift itself. With Omega defeated, we averted that particular catastrophe before it began. Derman struck the killing blow, of course, but we never would have made it to that point without everyone's hard work and support. Once again, I'm sincerely grateful to be surrounded by such wonderful colleagues. It's a good crew you've put together. not to spoil the moment, Chief, but the Alliance leaders are anxious to learn of Omega's fate. When every head of state is clamoring for a report, we can't very well ignore them. How much do you mean to tell them? How much indeed? All of it. When it comes to a threat of Omega's magnitude, we have a duty to reassure our allies that the world is not coming to an end, and the best way to do that is to report every last detail. I'm surprised at you, Chief. I was almost certain you'd want to muddy the waters to prevent knowledge of this technology falling into the wrong hands, or something similar. I doubt anyone outside our particular circle would even believe the tale. Experiments taking place in a rift between dimensions, facing off against villains recreated from history and legend, battling godlike beings from other worlds. And even assuming some ambitious fellow schemed to build an Omega of his own, the technology required is as far beyond our reach as that terrible weapon's home star. A distant dream. Right. You heard the Chief. We missed our chance on the front lines, but there's plenty of work left to be done. Round up everyone who's standing idle and get moving on those reports. And don't forget to contact our people still out in the field. Thank you, Jesse. I'll leave things in your capable... Not so fast, Mr. Garland. You count as part of the support team as well. Derman did all the fighting and Alpha did all that running, but surely you have energy to spare. Who exactly did you expect to sign off on all those official reports? And even without that little chore, you have a pile of other company tasks that's grown arse-high to an aurochs while you've been tending to this whole Omega business. Most importantly, isn't there someone else you should be sharing this victory with? Aye. I should probably head over to the infirmary right away. Meanwhile, you should take a well-earned rest. I don't think there's a way to properly reward you for all you've accomplished, but I'll see what we can do. I'm just glad we have everyone back in one piece. Take care of yourself, Derman. What are your plans now, Alpha? With Omega gone, you're your own chocobo now. You can do whatever you want. Anything at all. You want to go outside? Did you have someplace in mind?
Come on, Wedge. Get those Lalafell legs moving, or I'll leave without you. On my way.
Well, I've got a lot of loose ends to tie up here, Derman. Don't worry, we haven't forgotten your reward. The Chief and I have something in mind. Well, I can't wait to hear, but first, you.
Kweh.
Alpha seems eager to see what Rogger's Reach has to offer. Shall we go for a walk?
Kweh.
Well, okay then. Lead the way. What you looking at, buddy? Alpha appears to be watching the inhabitants of Rogger's Reach with great interest.
Kweh.
Yeah, and, Alpha. What do you want about, little buddy?
Kweh. Nero's not here.
No, Chief, he said he needed time away for recuperation, and then he left. Recuperation? His wounds must be troubling him more than he let on. He asked me to give you this. What is this? A receipt for payment? It covers the cost for the following items: additional machine parts and implements, supplemental reference publications, expenses incurred in upgrading Magitech armor and gunhammer, funds spent on idle research during enforced convalescence. It also includes a large sum listed as gratuity for exceptional services rendered. The entire amount was charged in your name, Master Garland.
Find him! I want everyone searching for Nero right now. Everyone!
Oh dear. Well, I'm gonna leave all of you to that. I got a little chocobo to keep up with. What are you doing back here, bud?
Kweh? Kweh?
Alpha appears to sense the solemn purpose of this place. A gentle pet might rouse him from his sudden melancholy. Well, okay. That I think we can do. Pet. Here you go.
Kweh.
Well, good. Hey, wait up, little guy. Goodness, you've become an inquisitive little thing all of a sudden. Oh, hello. What are you two up to? I'm not entirely sure. Alpha's just enjoying exploring. Taking in the sights, were you? And by the look of things, you're eager to venture a little further afield. Well, if Dermot has no problem with it, then neither do I. Just don't go too far, all right? Not good enough? I'm sorry, Alpha, but we're all a bit busy to show you around the fringes right now. And I'm not too sure about sending you out there alone. When you think about it, this world is completely new to Alpha, and all he's done so far is travel back and forth between the Reach and the Yawn. It's not the most exciting scenery Eorzea has to offer. I bet his head is filled with questions and curiosity. He doesn't want to be taken for a walk, he wants to go on an adventure. Ah, I see. Alpha's not some helpless chick, Biggs. He's stronger than you or me, and I wish I was half as brave. He should be allowed to... Listen, I'm going to talk to the chief about this. You're an employee, so there are certain rules we have to follow. I'm not saying I'm against the idea, and I'm willing to admit that Wedge has a point. But as I said, we've all got important jobs to take care of, the chief included. Can you wait a little longer? Derman, would you mind keeping Alpha company until we get back? I promise, we'll be quick. Okay. You just stay here with me. Sorry to keep you waiting. My desk was covered in paperwork, but I've managed to clear away the most pressing matters. Now then, Alpha. I hear your heart's set on a journey of some kind. I just want to be sure, but you aren't leaving because you think you tricked us into the rift, or because you're Omega's creation, or anything like that, are you? I would have stopped you if that was the case. Pure curiosity, on the other hand, is something I like to encourage. Exploring, interacting with the world, I think the experience will be good for him. Despite Omega's power, its potential to learn was hobbled by hostile directives. Alpha, on the other hand, is free to grow as he pleases. Very well, Alpha. As the Chief Engineer of Garland Ironworks, I hereby grant you unlimited leave to pursue personal research. Travel far and wide, take in everything these lands have to offer. But do come back when you're ready. I'd hate to lose such a valuable employee.
Alpha! I'll miss you so much.
You be careful out there. If anyone seems suspicious or shady, you stay away from them, even if they offer you treats. And make sure you greet folks with a cheerful Kweh. They might not understand you, but at least they'll know you mean no harm. I'm sure you'll make new friends in no time. You just be yourself, you hear me? We've got to give Wedge a pet he can actually keep.
Eek! What in the hells?
Ah, we forgot to shut it down. This is a Model Omega that Wedge and I were working on. We built it while we were resting, thinking it might be useful for figuring out strategies or something. Not much use now, I suppose. It's kind of cute. What? You want to keep it? It's just a toy that'll follow you around. If you're happy with that, then it's all yours. Bye, Alpha. Fair journey to you, Alpha. Take care.
Thank you, Derman. I'm off to see the world.
Something amiss? You guys heard the Chocobo talk too, right? That's strange. The Echo never allowed you to understand him before. Now, this is just a theory, mind you, but assuming the absence of a soul is what prevented you from hearing Alpha's voice in the first place, then does it not follow that the reason you hear it now is... Aye, a little miracle. And it explains his sudden urge to travel. For a newborn soul, this world is brimming with unseen wonders. And off they go. on a tiny little adventure of their own. And so your journey begins. I almost envy you, Alpha. So many new things for you to discover. Speaking of which, what terrible marvels can I trouble my old friend with next? Oh dear. Alpha, please don't take that thing in the water. And thus concludes the Omega Raid series. I do hope you've enjoyed. It's been a grand time. Fun little bit of trivia. Well, not even really trivia, just a fun fact. So now that we have done that, and we've met Alpha and little tiny Omega have gone off on their little adventure, we as a player will now randomly, very, very occasionally, pretty rarely honestly, encounter them around the world. Just as we're running around from place to place, every now and then you'll look off to the side and see, oh, hey, there's Alpha and a little baby Omega just sitting there looking at some little point of interest, just off on their adventure. Every now and then, after you've done this raid series, your little journeys will cross paths again. And it's just such an adorable little touch. I hope Alpha enjoys his adventures. There's so much danger out there for one little chocobo. Now, I'm sure he'll be fine. And dwelling on such things is not productive in the least. Why don't we discuss a happier subject, like your long-awaited bonus? We drained the coffers to fund your expedition, but why settle for coin when you can have the latest in automaton technology? That's right, we're gifting you a premium mammoth, the one-of-a-kind master model for merchandise copies, constructed with our patented Ironworks quality. I present to you the Clockwork Alpha. Oh, do I get one? Yep. I get a little baby, wind-up Alpha minion to have. Whenever you bring it out on your travels, may it remind you of the real Alpha, quaying along under some distant sky. Just the thought of it brings a smile to my face. That and the free advertising. Well, thank you. And there's the quest line done. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this very long set of episodes. And the very long episodes aren't done, because next week when we come back, or I don't know what day of the week it is anymore, but next time when we come back, we are going to commence with the next Stormblood raid. And it's also a very, very good one. Please do look forward to it. I'll see y'all then for that. Take care, and goodbye.